Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
You know, I'll never forget my old dad. When these things would happen to him, the things he'd say to me.
What did he say?
What the hell are you doing in the bathroom day and night? Why don't you get out of there? Give someone else a chance.
Well, it's already live. We're already running. Yeah, it's mad show. Just come right in.
Come right in?
Yeah, we're already in. There is no coming in. It's done. The shit's already been recorded.
Is that what she said?
No, she didn't say that. Anyway. All right, so you're listening to A Pod Amongst Men. We're here on Friday night. This is episode 1. It might not be episode 1. It's an episode. We'll see what order we release it in.
But it's an official launch party right here.
I'm here with my main man, Louie. Elias.
What's good, America?
We're going to be talking about fatherhood tonight. You got two fathers here. You got me, you got Louie.
That's it, all day.
I'm a stepfather. Louie's a real father. And we're gonna compare notes with one another.
You're a real father, too.
Fucking ain't right, bro.
It's just a title. Stepfather, father, those are titles. It's the actions that we do that matter.
That's true.
That's it. It's how we look in the eyes of our little guys or little girls out there. It's the caring we do, the loving we do, the sacrifice we do to make sure that they have the things they need to have the opportunities that they have. That's what fatherhood's about.
Amen. Tell me about your guy. How would you describe your little man?
My little guy.
How old is he?
He's 3.5. He's a mini me, you know.
It seems like he's been around way longer than that.
He's a very mature kid. He's got responsibilities, you know. My wife and I both work. You know, we hustle hard. I provide whatever I can, the best of what I can to my family. But ultimately, 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago, I made the decision that I didn't want anybody else to raise my son. I wanted to be there in the morning for him. I wanted to get him dressed. I wanted to teach him how to tie his shoes, to put his laundry away, to fold laundry, to clean up after himself, to take him to school. I want to make sure that when he walks in, he's got a smile on his face. We listen to techno beats every morning, you know. So I get up at 5:30. I send my emails out. I get my day started.
Let me ask you this. I'm sorry to interrupt. The techno beats, is that your choice or his?
That's his choice.
That's his choice.
And I'm forced to dance fist bump in the car.
Does he have any preferences on artists or just stations?
He is a Tiesto fan.
Really?
Absolutely.
I got to talk to this kid.
Yes.
We're going to have to straighten that out. I can't have that.
Awesome guy. He also likes Hotel Transylvania because Tiesto made the soundtrack for that, or some of the songs for that.
Yeah, when I took Ty to see Trolls, like they just sing all like real songs.
Oh, yeah.
And all these kids movies now, they sing the real songs, just, you know, in like kids versions. But this guy's walking around singing September by Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm like, bro, you're too young. You're too young to know this shit. Yep. You can't know this yet. Like the one movie we saw, the movie Sing, it was literally just like a singing competition for animals. And they were singing like Elton John and stuff. So this kid likes Elton John now. I was like, all right. So I played him the real version. He said, no, that's not the same version. I'm like, no, this is the real one. Because I want the one with Johnny singing. I'm like, Johnny? He's like, yeah, the gorilla. I was like, you motherfucker. You know a gorilla can't sing this shit.
Well, that sounds the same way. Violent motherfucker when it comes to music. He used for weeks he was playing We Will Rock You. Like Violent. Swinging his hands, throwing toys all over the car.
Where did he hear it, though?
No idea. Must have been a movie. He's all about the movies. And I got Spotify, and I go on there, Lion Guard.
Oh, don't even... We listened to the actual Lion Guard soundtrack. Like
a legend.
We were listening to like...
Bro, I'm like, what kind of violent shit are you talking about? You're talking about bringing a dead guy back from the dead to rule the Pride Lands. Like, Scar was an asshole. He killed Simba's father.
Okay, now I didn't watch the actual show. I just knew the soundtrack.
Oh, no. I have to watch the show.
Oh, you see, now, I learned about Lion Guard when I was still up here before Betty moved up. So I didn't have to sit down and watch it. Like, I'm just, getting it secondhand. They'll go, oh, Steve, do you know this song Zukazama? I'm like, no, I don't know it. Oh, well, let's play it 16,000 times in a row in the car.
Well, my son has his own playlist on Spotify.
I made Ty his own playlist, but it's all songs from the Marvel movies, like from Guardians of the Galaxy and shit.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, that kid's got the iPad, he's already telling me what the stock market's doing. He hacked the world. I'm like, that's great. Make sure when you turn 12, you get a job and you're not going to retire.
Yeah, no, I was just having a conversation explaining to Tyler that Slender Man is not real because showed up on some fucking YouTube video.
My son walks around the house like he's Iron Man, blasting stuff. Knocking the table over, knocking the lamp over.
Do you let him watch YouTube?
He's got YouTube for kids.
You gotta watch, bro, because some of that shit, like you know what Slender Man is, right? Yeah. So there's like other stories about fake boogeymen and shit. There's one called Jeff the Killer, and on YouTube Kids they had a thing. It was called The Story of Jeff the Killer, and it was about how he stabbed his parents and murdered them. And it's like a video, like a cartoon video of this guy stabbing his mom and dad with a fucking knife. And I'm like, this is YouTube Kids? You motherfuckers are going to, like, ban some dumb shit, and you're going to leave that? I'm like, yo, I can't have that.
So he used to have access to YouTube, but he was watching all that shit in foreign languages. I didn't even know what the hell's going on. Chinese, Japanese. He can't do. I was like, bro, you need to learn English first and learn how to speak correctly. Then you're going to learn your native language.
How do you come into that? How do you come into, like, foreign language videos?
He just searches for the videos, Lion Guard.
That's from hanging out with his
uncle.
And
it comes up on the side. Yeah, it comes up on the side, and he listens to it in every language.
Jesus.
You know, and like, he's 3.5. They started teaching him Spanish at school. Great. I'm like, learn a second language. That's your third language, technically. English, then our native language, and third language. I'm like, that's great. You know, support that. I want you to learn languages. I want you to learn as much information as you can to better yourself and be a well-rounded person. But YouTube there's some creepers on there.
There's some wild shit on there.
Look at this purple hippo. I'm like, you better turn that shit off right now because that's a pedophile and that motherfucker's gonna get arrested.
Yo, let me tell you something. Purple hippo just made, $50K last month.
I know.
And I'm here fucking breaking my back every day in Jersey City. And this motherfucker's got his kid opening presents on video. And they got a better 401k than me.
Look what I got today. I got the Jurassic World Park store thing, majig. And I'm like, George's like, we need to buy them. I'm like, that's why you're making the money. You're watching your kid open it.
Yeah, every time they watch that, they make money.
That's right. And like, and you want to buy that because this kid's showing you that he got it.
Because every time somebody logs on, they get a couple of ads in the beginning, and that money, some of the money from that ad, goes to the people that made the video.
I'm about to start a YouTube channel that's showing me and my son cleaning the house and doing laundry, the real shit in the world. So some kid sees that, it's like, Daddy, I want a Swiffer for Christmas.
Bro, who the fuck's gonna watch that?
Kids, because they just surf the tube.
You don't watch anything, man.
It's like, oh man, look at this kid George, over there dressed up as Spider-Man, Swiffering the floor. That's right.
I wonder if you could actually because you never know what's gonna catch, what's gonna take off. I wonder if you actually did that, if anybody would watch.
All of a sudden, again, love letters from people. I love you. My son cleans the whole house. My daughter mops everything. We do everything. We come home. That's it. So, yeah, you never know.
Tyler wants to start his own YouTube channel.
He should.
I don't know, bro.
He knows everything about superheroes.
No, it's not even that. When he plays video games, because he's used to watching the YouTube videos of the people talking and narrating what they're doing. I think he really thinks that that's what you do when you play video games. So even if he's just playing by himself, he's constantly talking and I better do this. Why don't I do that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you can't. That's not normal. Normal people don't do that.
Don't talk to yourself out loud. Because there's psychiatrists going to show up at the door.
Yeah, dude. People are going to think you're half a Momo or something.
Yeah, but bro, there's kids out there that do that. And they make millions.
Oh, yeah. All the kids on Twitch and all that shit.
Gamers.
Yeah, man. They get paid. They had that guy, Drake was on with that guy Ninja.
Yeah.
They're just playing together.
10 million.
Oh, yeah.
10 million.
And then these fucking PewDiePies out there, throwing up Zeke Hiles and playing Fortnite.
When our parents told us, you better stop playing video games because you're not going to do anything with that in your life.
There's some parents.
Guess what?
Fucking eating some humble pie right now. Eating a big motherfucking slice.
Big motherfucking humble pie right now.
Yeah, that didn't work out for me.
No.
Well, all that happened is when I played video games, I just lost entire days of my life.
I only play video games to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, well, that was fun when we used to play.
My wife was pregnant at home. I was like, I'm buying Xbox. I want to see everybody virtually.
Dude, I got nervous when we got the PS4. Like, it was not my idea. But as soon as, like, you know, he offered it up to us, like a friend of my wife. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, you can have my PS4. I don't need it anymore." I was like, "Dude, really? That's too much." He's like, "No, seriously, take it. Give it to Tyler." I was like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm sure." So we took that shit, and we were in D.C., so we had to drive, you know, almost 4 hours back. Bro, we didn't get home. I stopped at Target and bought that motherfucking Spider-Man game. That was it. And that was it. Now, like, luckily, I don't even turn it on anymore. Because it's like, I know that when I turn it on, like, I get sucked in. Like, I know, you know when you're, like, aware that you have, like, a little, like, a weakness? I don't even give into that temptation. Like,
watch it.
But any game, like, deep game like that, where there's actually, like, shit to do and it takes a while. Like, I got Tyler the Pokemon game. Next thing you know, I'm playing more than he is. Like, I can't have this. No. This is not okay.
Listen, I had a big awakening in my life. My son... His uncle is hardcore into these games, knows his stuff. That's great. Teaches my son, plays with him, fine. Then all of a sudden one day I'm at home. I hear a little ruckus in the kitchen. Come outside, I'm like, what is going on? My 3-year-old is negotiating with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
I will do XYZ if you buy this game. I'm like, what the fuck did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Negotiating, like he's some attorney. I'm like, well, this could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, but let's see how this pans out. I'm like, listen, you can't be negotiating things with a 3-year-old. You cannot dictate to us. Whereas parents, when we say it's time to eat, it's got to go down. No.
The same thing.
Guess what?
Same thing.
Drove me to the edge. I snapped that little pod in half. That was the end of that tablet.
Oh, that was when you broke the iPad?
That was it. The tablet's gone.
Did you actually, like, break it just with your hands, or you snap it over your knee?
Oh, I snapped it with my eyesight and then physically over my knee.
Bro, when I told Tyler that story, that, like, struck fear deep in his heart,
yes.
Bro. Like, you would have thought that fucking Voldemort was coming to get him when I told him that.
But I'll tell you, it was very clean. I snapped it. I looked him dead in the eyes. I dropped it in the trash can. And I was like, the next time you negotiate to buy games for items that you're supposed to do, like eat and clean up after yourself, that's it. Every toy. And pop the heads off. And since that day, when I say time to close it, yes, Daddy. Closes it.
Now, that's like a thing that, like, that always... It's not that I have, like, a problem with it, but it's difficult for me because, obviously, I'm Tyler's stepdad. Me and Betty got married. He just turned 6. So, I'm not, you know, I'm not there from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And not to mention, like, he has his father who was in his life, his whole life. You know, there's sometimes you gotta feel, I'm worried, I'm like, maybe I'm stepping on toes here, so I can't really take that hard line the same way you would be able to with Georgie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's tough because the negotiating thing, we do that too. We do that here. And I told him, like, bro, there's no negotiating. Next time I hear you negotiating, all those toys go away. Okay?
The kids are smart.
But he knows, yeah, he hears me say it, and he knows I'm serious. Mm. But, I can't, like, it's not like I just threaten to give him a spanking or anything like that. No. Like, it's not going to fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't believe any physical violence solves anything.
I think that's right.
People think that, oh yeah, well I spank him or I spank her. I'm like, no, bro.
Yeah, you're not.
You solved the situation at that point.
Yeah.
But you haven't shown them. So a lot of the times, like what we'll do, especially my wife and I, if we see him doing something, we stop him and we explain to him what he's doing.
Yeah, he has to understand.
Yeah,
especially when you hit him,
he's like, he knows. I know that he knows.
No, they know.
He knows what he's doing, and especially with certain things, he'll look me dead in the eye. I mean, this motherfucker is...
You can tell by how slow they move.
He'll look me in the eye.
If they try to, like, slowly do something and we're watching you, they know they ain't supposed to be doing that shit.
Like, don't you drop that. Don't you do that. Don't you... Why the f*** did you drop that? And he's like, I didn't do anything. I'm like, you looked me dead in the eye. And you dropped that whole bottle on purpose. He's like, no, I didn't. I didn't do it, Mommy. I'm like, no.
Don't you know I can see you?
Yeah. And he knows how to, he is so strategic. He knows what to tell my wife. He's like, oh, well, Daddy, blah, 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 today. And he got upset because I was doing this. And Mommy, you let me do this. I'm like, bro, me and my wife, we team up every week. We strategize. Sunday nights, we're like, all right, this is what he did last week. We need to find a solution to the problem. we need to be on the same page. Because you can't deviate.
Yeah, no, you guys gotta be
They
a
are
united
resilient
front.
little motherfuckers.
Yeah, you gotta be united front. They'll find the fracture, they'll find the weakness, and they'll exploit the shit out of it.
Dude, that's worse than a little broken pipe.
No, but I want to go back to what you said about hitting. Like, I think you're right, because you can't, if you, like, my generation, when I was a kid, I got, smacked.
Wooden spoons, bro.
Bro, I got cracked. I got fucking mollywopped.
I'll tell you a crazy story when I was little.
But no, I'm saying, like, when you hit a kid, especially when they're that young, the only lesson you're really teaching them is that violence is how you solve problems.
That's right.
You're not actually teaching them the message you think you are. You're not.
100%.
Yeah.
And they take that and they reflect that to others as well. Because if now all of a sudden somebody takes a toy and they don't like it, they're like, well, my daddy or my mom didn't like what I did, and they hit me. Then they hit that child.
Mm-hmm.
And what you need to do is, and we do this all the time with our child, and the school does it, and we reinforce it where it's you need to use your words. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even matter if they don't understand emotion, but what we've tagged it is just say you're upset. Doesn't matter what it is, because they're not old enough to classify the emotion. I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm this and that, I'm depressed. I'm upset. Just use the one key term. And when we say stuff where we're like, you can't go there and play today, he's like, I'm upset. All right,
yeah.
Tell us why. Because I wanted to go play there today because you said so last week. You know what? We did say so last week, so we need to make that happen.
They remember every little innocuous thing you say.
It's crazy.
You just said it like in passing, like, yeah, whatever, we'll go. Bro, they remember that shit like it's written in stone.
My son tells me stories when he was a baby. I'm like, what the fuck do you know when you were a baby?
Last week.
He's like, remember when I was a baby and I was crying at church? I'm like, what the fuck do you know about that? I'm like, you couldn't even talk. You didn't even know where your thumbs were.
See, nah, Tyler don't do that. But Tyler remembers anything. If I like say something just to yes him, just to satisfy him, like, yeah, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. He doesn't forget it. So to me, it was nothing. But to him, that was I just gave him a blood oath right there. So you can't, you got to take that shit seriously. You got to make sure you're aware of what you're saying to them. Yeah. Because they remember that shit.
That's right. And there's so much stuff going on in this world that kids are exposed to in all facets of their day. From school to music to YouTube to games to even listening to our conversations. I mean, in the very beginning when I decided to start working remotely, to take my son to school and do all that stuff, that kid was sitting in my office in the morning waiting for me to get off calls to take him to school and then pick him up in the afternoon. I had him and he was listening, and he would just repeat everything. Repeat negotiations I was talking about, repeat numbers I was talking about, repeat conversations. I mean, they're like a record. They suck everything in and it's just spit. My son comes home every day and tells my wife, every day they have a pillow talk. He reiterates the entire day. I went to school. I did this. I ate this. I sat next to this person. I did that. This person pushed this person. This person pushed me. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's crazy.
See, now I wish I had more of that. Because what I get every day is him. It's like he's performing for me. Like, it's like he thinks life is YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything I get, he's trying to show me. Oh, watch when I do this. Watch when I do that. I'm like, no, Todd, sit down, talk to me. Tell me about your day. And he's like, oh yeah, it was good. Yeah. We did this and that's it.
Well, that's what I get.
Yeah, I'm like, no, bro, I want to know. Give me details. Talk to me.
That's the mommy daddy side, And if you're out there and you're listening and you're only a dad or you're only a mom, I'm sure you guys see both sides of it because that's the figures that you play, or maybe you only see one side of it and the other side's still hidden, and it's difficult at the time. But I mean, when I'm home with my son, he's like, yes, daddy, this helps me out, wants to do things, wants to learn how to do all this stuff around the house, whatever. As soon as my wife walks through the door, he thinks he's in Vegas at a pool party. I mean, the shit just goes to the fucking ceiling, and he goes nuts.
Yeah,
he's doing laps around the house, music's blaring, he's playing here, he's got every light on the fucking house, he's running around, and he's like, mommy's home.
I have the same thing, only it's when I walk in the house, because I'm the last one to get home. So, like Betty says to me, he was just sitting there minding his business, quiet. As soon as you walk in the house, it's just like fucking, it's like a parade in the house. What the fuck, bro? Sit down, breathe,
chill out.
Yeah, talk to me. Can I at least take a shit and shower before I get bombarded? She always says to me, like, what are you doing in there for so long? I was like, it's the first chance I had to relax since 6 o'clock this morning.
Taking a dump, thinking about my day.
Got some old fucking Wilford Brimley looking piece of shit yelling at me at work because of something somebody else did. I'm like, yeah, you know, can I breathe? Can I fucking breathe? No, Betty's really good about that. She don't give me shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like she's gonna listen to this and she's gonna be like, "You said what?" I gotta cover my ass, bro. This shit is out there now.
My hardest thing is when I have him home and I'm on conference calls and I'm like, I've taught him now when Daddy's on the call we can't talk, but the kids are funny thing. He thinks whispering loud is not talking.
Oh yeah, no, Tyler's the same way.
I'm like, all right, you're gonna sit there and be quiet, right? Yes. I get on the call, 3 seconds in, Daddy. I'm like, put it on mute. What, bro? He's like, Daddy, I want to sit over here. I'm like, all right, go sit. That's fine, but you can't talk on the phone, okay? Okay, Daddy. Unmute it. Yeah, so, and I start going on with the conversation with the client or whatever. 40 seconds later, Daddy, turn on the TV. I'm like, bro, don't you get that to talk? Don't speak.
I said, don't speak. What the fuck did you hear?
Then I walk out of the room and he's right behind me.
Yeah, nah,
like
I do the same thing. We were just watching a movie before you got here. We were just sitting there. We had the Big Lebowski on. Yeah. Tyler was sitting next to me. He had his Nintendo with him. He's playing. I'm like, all right, listen. There's only 15 minutes left in this thing. Just chill out. I just need you to be quiet, and then we'll talk. You show me all your Pokedex, everything, whatever, and then we'll talk. Okay, bro. Not even 10 seconds later. Yeah. Steve, look what my Pidgey evolved into. I'm like, bro, we just talked. I just said, I need 15 minutes. You barely even gave me 15 seconds. Huh. It's crazy.
Time must go so fast for them.
Oh, my God.
Because my son don't understand anything about time. I got him a clock in this playroom a little while back, maybe like a year ago. Started teaching him the numbers, this and that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I asked him, I'm like, what time is it? He goes, it's 4,000 hours. I'm like, what the fuck's 4,000 hours? What are you, an
Army Ranger?
Or I'm like doing something with finances. I'm talking, and he's like, yeah, that's $87.42.865. I'm like, bro, there's 2 decimal places. Relax.
You know, teaching the finer points of
teaching the finer points in life, yeah.
Of mathematics.
Listen,
I was gonna say.
I mean, listen. I mean, my dad, you know, God bless him. He worked his ass off. He was always at work. He was always busy, but he always made time to come on the weekends to my soccer games and everything else. But my mom and my grandma, they're the ones that instilled the cooking and the cleaning and the organizing and folding clothes and all that stuff. I mean, I'm a machine, and I'm doing the same thing because I believe that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or a boy or a girl, everybody should learn to fend for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
They should learn to be able to live by themselves, take care of themselves, do things themselves. I mean, I think those are all quality traits, and it also projects into the real world. When they go to school, they know how to communicate, they know how to respect space, they know how to help clean up, they know how to organize, they know what their schedules are like. When they go into the workplace, I mean, throughout all of life, those blueprints continue to follow us.
Oh, yeah, bro.
I mean, when I was in college and I was like living with 4 other guys, I'm looking at all these people and I'm looking at all these slabs and I'm like,
they don't know how to do shit.
Well, I'm vacuuming, I'm Febrezing, I'm cleaning.
Okay, but hang on. It's like you are a different animal though. Your idea of clean is not the same idea of clean as most men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I white glove that stuff.
Yeah, no. Most, I would say at least 95% of men out there are not on that level. I'm not.
But is that not on that level because they don't think they need to be on there because there's a woman that exists? Or is it not on that level because they were never just taught how to do that? Because maybe their fathers and mothers had that different sense, or they just never had the opportunity to be taught because they had a single mom or a single father that was just busting their balls to take care of them and give them food and a house, and there was no time for the little things. And in those situations, I don't see it as something they missed out on because their mom and dad literally gave their whole life to make sure they had a life.
See, now my parents both worked, but like they would come home, my mom would cook. You know, my dad cleaned. He would get on his hands and knees and scrub the floor. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing that for? Like, it's just been us in the house. It's not dirty. Nah, it's just dirt over here. Bro, I don't see shit. Get the fuck up. Go watch your game. Relax. You're an old man. You don't need to be fucking, like, you know, like Cinderella here scrubbing the floors. And that's just the way he is. That's the way my mom is. Their idea of clean, I don't know what the fuck happened to me because it ain't my idea of clean because I ain't doing that shit. But luckily, I found a wife that she's great with. She cleans everything and she don't ask for help. I offer the help. She don't want it. But there's certain things like we each have our roles, and you know we got a good balance. And it wasn't because I don't know how to do it. I just don't fucking want to. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about that.
All right, let's talk about
I feel
that.
like that's a stigma where it's like, you're the girl.
Okay, don't let me put out the wrong
words in
idea.
your mouth,
Yeah,
but I want to
no.
open this page up.
I don't want to make it seem like that's a woman's job or anything.
but
because when I lived by myself, there was nobody else to do that shit but me.
I was just going to get to that point.
Yeah.
So I want to... You're not making the stigma, but I want to open up that stigma that's there. Because you lived on your own for a long time.
9 years.
You cooked, did laundry, cleaned,
Did
took
everything.
care of yourself, bills. So you did that. It's not like you went from mommy and daddy's house straight to somebody that was just taking care of you.
I didn't just
And
go
you're like,
from
well, I
one
don't do that
caretaker
shit.
to another.
You know? I don't have that mentality. I don't do that shit. Like I pay the bills. I go to work. Yeah, but bro, your wife may work too. She also has bills that she pays or contributes. And if she doesn't have to contribute to the bills because you're taking care of all the bills, you still have to take and give her the credit that she still works. So if you needed money for bills, she can help. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are like, well, I go to work and I take care of the bills and I'm the breadwinner and all this stuff and I don't have to do any of that shit. Then why is your wife, if that's the case, why is your significant other still going to work? If you're like such a macho about, I take care of all that stuff, why are you forcing her? Now it's different if that spouse or the other individual wants to go to work because they want their self and their freedom and that's who they are and they want to have feet on the ground. But they also have to be accounted for and credited that if something goes wrong, they're working and they can contribute. They can take care of stuff.
Yeah, you can't be out there talking all kinds of shit like, oh yeah, I work so my wife don't have to work and this and that. But at the same time, I don't know where I was going with that. This wine is pretty strong.
It's great, bro. You have to take into account but then that also what we were going with is that all translates into what our kids see.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it doesn't matter who you are, bro. You could be an uncle, you could be an aunt, you could be a grandma, you could be a dad, you could be a mom. These kids see everything.
Every time you scratch your ass, the kid sees it. And they might not even realize they're seeing it, but they're going to remember it 20 years down the road.
Bro, I walked into my dad's house today. Most beautiful picture I've seen. I walk in, my dad's in the chair, and he's got my niece and my nephew with him. They're both tucked in, and I'm like, oh wow, that's such a beautiful picture. I'm like, hey, how'd the stock market do? My nephew, he's turning 5 in March. He screams out, oh, it dropped 500 points. I'm like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It can't drop 500. Just dropped 800 points the other day. I look at my dad and he's like, no, the kid's right. He knows how to read the screen.
Who said this, Stamati?
Yeah. He sees a little ticker in the right-hand corner that says minus 500.
Yo, why does Stamati have to know about the stock market?
Because he spends time with my dad. This is all the point. He sees my dad watching the market, and my dad explains to him, hey, this is the market, this is what this means. And the kid picks up. He picks up, and he's spitting out quotes to me. Negative 500 points today. Don't you fucking lie to me, boy. I look on the screen, negative 500 points. I'm like, my bad. But they see everything. So everything we do in front of them, they're yelling, they're screaming. If we argue, listen, everybody argues. I don't want to hear anybody say, we never talk, we never argue, or we never argue.
Oh, yeah, everybody's going to argue.
That's a BS.
It's a matter of whether or not you argue in front of the kid.
That's right.
Because the kid, the best thing you could do for, especially for a boy, because we both have boys, the best thing you could do for a young boy is you could teach him, you could show him how much you love his mother and show him how to treat a woman, because that's what he's going to base every relationship he has on. He's going to see how you act, and that's how he forms his ideas about a relationship.
If I go over to my wife...
Excuse me, guys. I've been sick all week, so if you hear a lot of sniffling and coughing, that's my fault. Listen, I'm going to do this thing, rain, sleet, or snow. It don't matter. Come hell or high water, this motherfucker's getting recorded.
That's it.
We're here.
My wife, if I go over to my wife and I'm tickling her, and I'm trying to be cute and, fool around with her or whatever, wrestle, my son comes out like a banshee. Don't you touch my mommy! And he's sweet. He cracked me in the jaw the other week. I was like, you need to stop.
They hit full force.
Came out dressed as Spider-Man. But he had a lightsaber. Cracked me right in the head. You get off my mommy, don't hurt her. I'm like, bro, she's laughing. You need to calm the fuck down. But if anybody ever breaks into the house, I'm like, you need to take him down. Tell him a 3.5-year-old. You know what? I made a mistake saying that. Every night since that night, he comes and says goodnight to me because he goes upstairs with his mom and he goes to me, make sure you put the alarm on. And if anybody breaks in, you fight them. He literally tells me that every night now.
I had to explain to Ty. I'm like, listen, there's no bad guys in this town. I know all the police. They told me they actually caught all the bad guys. So there's nothing you got to worry about. And if, in the off chance, there might be a bad guy, I had to show him where all, like, my weapons, like, that I have them. I didn't show him, like, how to use them or anything like that. But I had to show him, I got this, bro. You have nothing to worry about. You're safe here.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
But you got, I mean, like, I don't want to teach him that he's got to fight everybody.
Yes.
But I want him to feel safe at the same time.
Yeah.
And I want him, like, we're working on boxing here and there where we can, but I want him to feel confident in himself that he could, you know, handle something, some kind of situation. Because you never know, these fucking kids out there, like in the schoolyard, they're gonna try something, just playing around. They try to punk somebody, and it starts. You know, he's in second grade now. This is the time it starts. There's gonna be bullies. There's gonna be people talking shit, and this is a time where you have to learn for yourself. You have to show yourself what you're made of, what you're capable of. If you back down now, it's gonna create a pattern. You'll be backing down your whole life.
So,
Oh boy.
fuck, I'm laughing. I tell my son never touch anybody.
Okay.
I said, don't you ever touch anybody. If you have a problem, you tell daddy. I'm like, because in this world, we grew up in a different world. You and me were at the playground, and we got into a fight, or we wrestled, or you got hurt, whatever. Everybody's like, hey, just
That was
so you know,
it. We settled it.
we settled it.
Yeah.
But even when we were younger, the teachers were like, hey, your two sons were arguing. He got a scratch on his knee. That's it. Nowadays, hey, your two sons were arguing, whatever. Parents are like, I want that kid removed from the classroom, and I want a lawsuit because he scratched him and he's got a scar for life.
They started a GoFundMe. They got, you know, the AC.
This happened to my son this week.
No.
I go to pick him up. He's got all broken blood vessels in his eye. I'm like, the fuck? Now, he's the youngest one in the whole class.
Okay.
He's 3.5, and he's mixing with 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. Well, my son don't give a shit how tall you are, how old you are. He wants to talk to you. And if you're horsing around, he's gonna jump in, and he's gonna jump on top of the whole pile. He don't care, you know, because he wants to interact. He loves the interaction. He loves communication. I'm like, what happened? The teacher's like, oh well, he was in line, and one of the older kids pushed him, and he hit his head on the shelf.
Hit his head.
Yeah, on the shelf. I'm cool. I'm like, all right. So I go to the car. I'm like, yo, tell me what happened. So he tells me this kid did that. I pushed him, and he hit his head on the shelf. He was crying. And he's like, and then he turns to me and goes, so, Daddy, you're going to come tomorrow, right? And you're going to take care of that kid, right? And I was like, bro, that's not how it works. I was like, I'm going to address the situation with your teachers because you guys shouldn't be touching each other because things happen. I'm like, if you hit your head the wrong way, it'll be a problem. So I go to school. I tell my wife. My wife is like, very quiet. She blows up, calls the school. You wait till my husband shows up tomorrow. He's not going to be happy.
God.
I show up at school. Teacher's waiting for me. They want to talk to me in the office. I'm like, all right. I pulled up playing DMX. We're ready to do this. I got the radio still playing in the car. That's right. 3.5-year-olds. We're listening to DMX. We have a conversation. I'm like, listen, I just wanted to address the fact that there's a lot of horseplay and somebody can get hurt like this. That's it. So they're like, okay, great. The next day I get a call. Your son bit somebody. I'm like, motherfucker. So I have to go to the school. So I turned from the other side of it, like, don't touch anybody, this and that. And now he wants to play tough because now he turns around and bites somebody because that's all he's got at 3.5. I asked him why you bit somebody. He said I was a vampire. I'm sorry, you're fucking playing around. That's fine. But the moral of the story is that I could have told my son, you should go fight this person. You should push this person back. You should go hurt him. But we teach him, keep your hands to yourself. Because it only takes one time. It takes the wrong move, the wrong fall, the wrong thing. And it's not the lawsuits or anything else, but you're also affecting somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And you know how you are protective of your son and your family. I'm so protective of my son and my family. And if you had the roles reversed and your son got hurt or somebody caused it, you know how you would feel. So it's just keeping that mentality of like, dude, we're all human. We get hurt. We can be hurt. You know, words, physically, whatever it may be. But just trying to raise them the best way in this world. It's crazy.
We had a situation, not like, it's similar. So every day after school, Betty Betty and her mom pick up Tyler, and they let him play on the playground. They hang out there because she's out of work already, so they just let him play with the other kids on the playground. So this one day, he was playing with these couple kids, and a kid literally was like, I wasn't there, so I'm only in the second hand. A kid came up to him as he was talking and spit in his face.
What?
Just poof.
Not that motherfucker.
Now, and first reaction, you break this motherfucker's jaw. But I wasn't there. So Betty told me she saw it. And, Tyler, he kind of froze. He was like, did you just fucking spit on me? And in that situation, it's kind of like, like as a man, you would be like, you have to address that.
Yeah.
But it's a kid. So what would you do in that situation?
Well, all right. So going back to my son, what I had told him originally was, when you get into that, and the same thing I would do in this situation is, I would advise him, you don't respond. You simply say,
"There's someone spitting in your face."
Just let me finish.
Okay.
You don't physically respond, but you tell him, I don't approve of that, or I don't like that. Please don't touch me and stay away. And when that situation happens, especially at school time, you need to address the adults, and the adults need to address each other. No adult should ever address anybody else's kid and be like, you're a piece of shit, you spit in my son's face, blah, blah, blah. They don't understand it. Mm-hmm. And then you cause more trouble. But the first time, you tell your kids that, and also make it known. And the second time, then you need to have a conversation with the parents. Be like, listen, your kid spit in my kid's face twice. First time I let it go, the second time we need to address it because now it's a reoccurring event. And they need to talk to them. Now, in the event the parents are like, go fuck yourself, that's what I told my kid to do, too bad, you know what happens.
And then you spit in their face.
You can't do it in front of your kid.
Yeah, no.
But like my son knows. But my son knows, like, Dad, you can take care of that, right? I said, bro, don't worry about it. I'm gonna wait for that motherfucker's father to show up. I'm gonna knock him the fuck out. And then I'm gonna let him continue on with his day. But without my son watching, because I want him to know about that.
See, now, in this situation, what actually happened when Betty saw it, she ran out, and she said, she actually kind of almost yelled at Tyler, like, were you just going to stand there? Like, a come mierda and just fucking let the kid spit in your face?
She was like, hanging him up.
The kid's grandmother was with him, and she said, who, bring the kid, like, where's your parents? And the kid pointed, and she went up to the parents, and they didn't see it, the grandmother, whatever. And she said, he spit in my son's face. She said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she addressed it at least, which is what you would want in that situation. But I'm just like imagining, what if it was some like douchebag parent? They're like, no, my son didn't do that. It's like, no, fuck, he didn't.
We live in a crazy world, bro.
I know.
And man. You know what? This is why I say, I bullshit say I'll knock him the fuck out. But the reality is, nothing, no one out there is worth me losing my family or the shit I built.
Yeah, you can't just go out there swinging.
Face. I don't give a shit. You're gonna do something stupid like that, but I'm gonna do things right. I'm gonna make sure your kid doesn't interact with my kid at all. If that means I gotta tell the teachers to separate them from the class, or I gotta separate them myself, I'm gonna do that. Because if you can allow your kid to spit in my kid's face, and then when I tell you and address you, and you're like, good, that's what I fucking taught him, I don't want you around me at all, or my kid.
But now, I doubt that anybody is teaching their kid to spit in someone else's face. Like a kid might see something on TV, they might see something on YouTube or in a cartoon or some shit. Because, it
may not be teaching, Steve. It may be they saw their parents do that to someone else or to each other, and they think that's normal. Well, that's why. That's what we were talking about before. It's what they see that's what I mean, and they react.
But what if in that case? What if it's not? They saw their parent do it. What if they saw it somewhere else and they're just, reenacting what they saw?
Absolutely.
And the parent was unaware. Like, what if it's not like a bad parent? What if it's just something the kid saw?
Well, in that situation with your son, the grandma, the person watching the child, reacted the correct way. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I want to talk to him. What we're talking about is when the situation is when the parent's like, TFB, I don't give a shit. It's too fucking bad. Oh. If my son's spitting or my daughter's spitting in your kid's face, that's fine in my house. And then you're like, you can't be associated with these people.
Yeah.
We are in this world has become so unstable and crazy. You don't know what the next person next to you is thinking or doing at any point in time. And we think we do. And we know most of the people around us. And we try to keep those little groups and those relationships. But during the day, our kids are in someone else's hands. So the only thing we could do, and for the better good of their generation, is to teach them how to interact respectfully with one another. And also have that mentality at home.
So, like that being said, what would be one of the main values you want to teach your son? Like, what's one of the most, like the top 3 most important things you want to teach him? Think about
First one, keep your hands to yourself.
In terms of the fighting or?
Period. Whatever it may be.
Okay.
2, respect space.
Kind of like a...
Respect space and hands to yourself are different, I think. Because hands to yourself, whether it's fighting or horsing around or any of that stuff, you never know what happens. Respect space. If somebody wants to hang out by themselves, you don't need to hinder on them. You don't need to poke them or push them. I'm like, why? Or if they want to be part of a group, you don't push them away. If they want to respect their space, if they want to be part of your space and you want to be part of theirs, that's equal at that point. If they don't want you part of your space, but you keep pushing yourself on them, you need to respect the space, because that leads to conflicts and issues and everything else. And number 3 is the communication. Learn to communicate verbally versus physically. Whether you're upset or angry or happy or any of that stuff, you need to learn to communicate. Because I feel like a lot of in this world, we've gone through, social media has killed the communication. Text messages. Back then, bro, people were phones. People would talk in person when they wanted to know. Not send you a fucking Snapchat or an Instagram message.
I think there's a... Like right now, like the kids are at a certain age where it's before they're really able to really delve into the social media. So there's a sweet spot where you can really start to instill those specific values, especially when it comes to communication. You teach them how to talk to people. You look somebody in the eye when they're talking to you. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't start fidgeting around. You don't start doing the fucking floss when I'm trying to tell you something. You know what I mean? Like there's a sweet spot there. There's a time where they're old enough to understand, but they're too young to really be distracted by all that other noise out there. You know what I mean? And that's where you have to focus your energy, because there's going to be a point when they're going to be too old. There's going to be too much other stuff going on. They're going to actually have a life of their own outside of, you know, your house. And it's leading up to that. That's when you really got to try to instill the maximum amount of values and all the wisdom, that anything you have in you that you want to transfer to your son, you want to help him learn that. That's the time you got to do it. Because by the time he's a teenager, he's going to hear you, but the odds are he's not going to listen, and it's not going to be till he's older that he's going to remember and be like, oh shit, my dad was right. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck yes. I know what you mean, because when I was little, I mean, I look at it now, I'm a parent now, and I look back and I was like, I was the fucking Lucifer in the flesh.
You weren't that bad, bro. I mean...
Dude, I locked my parents out of the house when my mom was pregnant. I convinced the neighbors' kids to lock their parents out.
I thought you were talking about when you were older.
No, but when I got old, I mean, yeah, I had my bad moments too, but I look back and I'm like, listen, if I can avoid that shit and I can avoid you also making the same mistakes I did, it's my responsibility. I got to do that. I got to tell you. And that's why I said communication is number 3 in my list, because communication between me, my child, my wife, my child, all of us together, family members, friends, you got to communicate. You got to learn to talk to people and speak to them. And communication can clear bad situations, and it can create good situations. Mm-hmm. It can reinforce. I mean, it teaches. It's all based on that.
And that's tough when you have like a shy kid too.
Yes.
Because a lot of communication is putting yourself out there, speaking up. And if you have a kid that's shy, that's going to be a fucking challenge. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Betty's shy. Tyler's shy when he feels like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they all are like that. I feel like all kids have like their little moments when they're like, nah, I'm just gonna pretend I'm shy.
Yeah, he's shy for the first 5 minutes and then he's fine.
Yeah, like he comes out, does a break dance, he's like, all right, now I'm shy, don't talk to me.
Yeah, with Tyler, it's hard to ever imagine him being shy, because you see these kids, a kid like him is just made of energy. Just endless energy. He wants to talk about every little thing. He wants to show you everything he's doing. But then you take him somewhere new, and all of a sudden he just clams up for a couple minutes. And as soon as he gets comfortable again, then he opens up. But I'm trying to teach him the right way to communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just talk like you're on a fucking TV show. Especially like I was saying before, like he sees these shows and YouTubers and cartoons and shit, and like in the show they just scream and yell. Like, that's not how you talk in real life. And it's up to me and my wife to teach him that. And it's not always easy because, you know, I try to explain. All right, so I said, Ty, do you see me and your mom yelling? Are we shouting, screaming? No. When you go to school, do you see the teacher do that? No. So what makes you think that's okay? But it's these videos that you watch, and you don't realize how much those outside influences have an effect on your kid. So you could try to teach him everything you know till you're blue in the face, but there's some things that you can't control. And that's when you get to that point where you got to kind of hope you did a good enough job and hope you imparted enough wisdom and enough of what you know on them that they are prepared for the outside world, you know?
100%.
Bro, I can't stop coughing. This is fucked up.
Sorry, take a deep breath.
Every time I talk for more than like 3 seconds, I get that itch in my throat. I got to keep leaning away. Pretty soon there's going to be blood coming up. I'm telling
Jesus Christ.
I know. And of course, like every time I try to record something, they have issues. The first time, I couldn't get the third mic working, so I had to have the girl share a mic. And this time, I can't shut the fuck up. I'm coughing like a fucking leper colony here.
No, listen, man. Kids are complicated. They're full-time jobs, whether they're sleeping or they're awake. You're constantly worrying about them. You're constantly thinking about them. You're thinking of ways of how do you want them to be raised and what should we do and what's the right thing and how do we go about it. And you're communicating, you're collaborating, you're looking up things. And this person's telling you, oh, this is what I do with my kid and this person what I do with my kid. And not everything always works for your kid, for my kid, right? And then it's so funny for us being in the situation. I mean, we look back, we've been friends for how long? We look back and we were hanging out, Dunkin' Donuts, chilling, doing our thing, going out to clubs, hanging, dancing, traveling. And now we have a kid and we're like, our brain functions completely different.
Yeah.
We're not worried about like where we're going to party this weekend. We're like, damn, did the kid get the lunchbox? Did I get him stuff for school? Did he do a school project? You know, oh, we have a birthday party. Oh, we got 3 fucking birthday parties. We got to get the gift. I mean, the brain literally has changed.
Let me ask you this. This is something interesting. Do you find like when you watch Georgie just do his thing, whatever, do you stop and think, oh shit, I used to do that too? And then it makes you reflect and shit. And it teaches you something about yourself. You know what I mean? Like you see yourself in your son, and you all of a sudden re-examine things that happened to you in your life that you might have forgotten about. And you're like, oh, damn, like, I remember doing that. And then it makes you re-examine everything. And you're like, shit, I've been doing that my whole fucking life. Do you ever like learn something about yourself just by watching your son?
No. No, listen, I mean, I see the way he is. He's like balls to the wall.
Is he more like Todd?
Energy? No, he's energy. He's 100% me. 100% me. He's like a violent little criminal, smart as a motherfucker, and he uses that all to his advantage. And I mean, in that aspect, I look at him. I'm like, dude, you are a manipulative little shit. I love you to death, but I know you know exactly what you want as your end game, and you know how to talk about it. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. I mean, everybody knows me knows I'm a good talker. That's what it is. I'll talk you to. I'm blue in the face.
So I gave you the blue microphone.
That's it, bro. Blue mic. Don't give me blue balls. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see them just evolve. To be just.
You don't, but you. I mean, obviously, you see yourself in your son. Like you see shit that he does that you did too.
I can't remember anything. To tell you,
really?
To be honest, I don't remember sitting around and playing like.
Just like the way he reacts to things, like the way he
reacts just like I do now.
Like I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a specific incident. Like just the way he is Like, is he sensitive about certain things? Does he, move a certain way? You're like, oh, I used to do that same shit. Anything like that? Nothing?
I was a difficult child. I mean, bro, I was difficult. If Georgie did the shit to me, I'd be dead. Like, my parents, the only place I would eat, they would have to feed me on top of the car. Every day.
What do you mean, on the roof?
Yeah, like take me into the garage and put me on the hood of the car.
All right, how old?
When I was his age.
No shit.
I would not eat anything until they took me and put me in the car.
Why?
I love cars. Fuck do I know? I stole the car when I was like 6. I figured out how to put it in reverse and drive it out of the driveway. Almost fucking took out the house next door.
At the house in Branchburg?
Yeah. Actually, I almost rolled down the hill to Colin's house. So yeah, I mean, but I see the way I was super protective of my mom. And I see that in him and I love it. Mm-hmm. I love that fact. Because every time he leaves the house and I'm not with them, he says, Daddy, don't worry. I'm in charge. I'm going to take care of Mommy. I love that. Just like...
Nah, that's a good thing.
Dude, I know you're 3.5 and you ain't going to do shit really. But I love the fact that you think you are. It. Yeah, you respect her and you take care of her. So like I had, Ninja Turtles. Huge Ninja Turtle fan. But I was a little different than most kids because I had the toys, but I only took them out to clean them and put them away. I was like a collector.
Oh yeah, just a little different.
Yeah,
just a little.
So I gave my toys to my son when he turned 3. Like a week later, every fucking head was missing and foot was missing from Ninja Turtles from like 1992 that I collected.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but most kids end up destroying their toys.
Yeah, I know. I never had that thought. But the way he reacted about fixing it was how I was. He would not give up to try to put the legs back together and the arms and stuff.
Really?
And that was the first time I started picking up, and I was like, I never broke shit like that, but I always wanted to learn shit because my grandfather was an engineer, so he was always building shit and fixing shit. And I always wanted to know, how does it work? Or what are you doing? Or how we're going to go about this? And like strategize. And he will sit there for hours figuring out how to go in. And if I do it for him and he can't get it, and he's finally like, Daddy, can you do this? He wants me to show him. Like I physically have to hold his hands to put the legs back together because he wants to understand how to fix the toys or how to do something else or how to use a drill. I don't let him use the drill by himself, but
yeah.
we use the screw gun to put things, pictures up and all that other stuff. And he wants to learn it. And that is definitely one thing that I see that when I was young, I always wanted to know how things worked. I actually had a fucking book that was called Know How Things Work. Mm-hmm. That explained railroads and trains and
Do you see him emotionally react to things the way you would have? Because I know I see Tyler, and when I was young, I was always very friendly with people, easy to get along with, and Tyler's the exact same way. But I was also sensitive, so shit got to me. You know what I mean? It was pretty easy to hurt me as a kid emotionally. And
it wasn't for me.
No.
And he's the same way. He's a tough ass nail. I'm not a tough ass nail at all. I'm not a tough guy at all. I got no muscles. Period. I got brain power. But he is emotionally clamped.
Yeah.
And
I didn't get that till I was older.
Even when he gets upset, he may be super upset and his head may be down, but he will look you fucking dead in the eyes. He won't even shed it. He may have tears coming down the side of his cheeks, but he won't make the face that he's crying. He'll just keep clenched and he'll stare at you. And then he'll be like, ah! He'll just blow up. And I have a short fuse. I've always had a short fuse with things, just patience-wise.
I think the one big difference I see is that I had a lot more fear of my parents. I was afraid to talk back. I think nowadays it's kids, they must know. They know you ain't doing shit, bitch. I'll call Dyfus on your ass.
Bro.
You know what I mean? No, I'm not saying he's ever said that, but they must. Something is different because they know. I would have never in a million years thought to talk to my mom the way that Tyler talks sometimes. And I'm not saying he's a bad kid. He's really not doing anything bad at all. But compared to how I felt, I would never think to say something.
That's opposite of me and George. It's opposite. Because he don't talk like that.
No, don't get me wrong. He's not saying anything.
No, but I talk mad shit.
Oh.
I mean, bro, I was like this kid. Talk so much shit. My parents were like, yo, you need pepper in your mouth. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, let's do this. So they put pepper in my mouth. And as soon as they put that bottle of pepper down, I looked them in the eyes, I opened the cap, I put the whole fucking bottle, I ate the whole bottle of pepper.
Get the fuck out of here.
Straight stared my mom in the eye,
No
tears
way.
coming out of my eyes, chewed that whole pepper. Mom's like, you need Jesus. My mom's like, you're never getting punched again because none of this shit works.
What did they do? Take you to the fucking river Styx and try to get the
But
demons out of you?
No joke. I was like that. I was like that eccentric because I was like, you're trying. It was the fact that I was so attentive to what they were doing. Mm-hmm. I was like, I know what the fuck you're doing, so I'm gonna reverse roll this. I'm gonna eat the whole pepper can, and I'm gonna look at you. I might throw up later, all black pepper all over the house, but I'm gonna look at you in the eyes. I'm gonna show you that this shit don't burn me, even though it really hurts.
But they give you black pepper?
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything. I thought you were talking, they were trying to give you like a habanero or some shit.
No, they gave me like fucking table paper.
Oh, I would have fucking downed that shit too. Like,
Yeah.
bitch, this is the wrong stuff. It's the wrong stuff in the beginning, in the first place.
But that's the thing. I look at him and I'm like, Jesus Christ, please help me. Don't let him be like me. I mean, I was a violent little criminal, but I see his reactions when he gets like frustrated or like he knows something's supposed to happen in a certain way, and he's like, why did you do it this way? I'm like, it doesn't work like that because X, Y, Z. But they're funny, dude. They're like, they're much more mature in this such century, this day and age, than I think we were.
That's hard, and that's hard to imagine because there's a lot of stuff. You know, everybody. I think every parent has that feeling where it's like, fuck, am I not doing a good job here? Is this kid going to be ready to go out there in the real world? And I feel like there's got to be something every generation of parents experiences. You know what I mean? I'm sure my parents thought that too, and I mean, I feel like I turned out okay. Like I'm not constantly showing up at my parents' door begging for money and, you know, could you pay for this time? I'm going back to rehab. I swear it's gonna work this time. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they did a good enough job where I'm self-sufficient. I got a house, I got a family, I'm doing my thing. I just, like every time I feel something like that, I have to take a step back and be like, is that a legit feeling? Like, is there something causing me to think that? Or is that just something everybody goes through? You know what I mean?
I think every parent at some point during the day or the week or the month or whatever stops and is like, yo, am I doing this shit right? Like, why am I not getting through? Why is he not communicating correctly? Like, why are they still acting like that? They're exposed to so much stuff. Dude, YouTube, TV.
Yeah,
YouTube
is...
YouTube when we grew up. We didn't have iPads.
He can't wrap his head around that. He can't wrap his head around the fact that YouTube didn't exist when I was a kid. He asked me, was YouTube in black and white when you were a kid? I was like, bro, that's not how this shit works. There was no YouTube.
No, we had color TV, bro. Yeah. And HBO. Calm down.
I watched Ninja Turtles in color. The fuck you think I am, man? Yeah. No, I got real tight when he told me that. I was like, no.
I ain't that old.
No, I mean, in all seriousness. Like, it's crazy because the shit that we grew up with and the shit that they grow up with, like, I think back to my parents, like, when they were kids. And I'm like, wait a second. You guys didn't have video games? Like, what the hell did you do with your lives? And like, oh, we played outside.
With sticks.
Yeah, I did that too. But now it's, it's different. But it's a generational thing, I think, like every generation, they can't imagine how the generation before them did it. You know what I mean?
Listen, working for a long, long time, there's nothing more challenging and more rewarding than being a parent and going through this stuff, because every day is another learning day, is another story, it's a different process, it's a different procedure. There's obstacles to go through. There's ups and downs and everything else. So it's just one of those items that you wake up in the morning, you're like, fuck, I hope I get through today. I hope he gets through today too, or she gets through today too. But it's a constant wheel. It's always evolving. And then something you did yesterday, you do it today, and they're like, no, I don't want that. I'm like, well, you liked that yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I'm like, you better calm down.
There's
now.
Very little consistency.
Little. None.
But that's one thing that I'm finally at the point where I understand what everybody was talking about my whole life. Like they say, oh, it's the most rewarding thing in the world to be a parent. You don't get it until, like, I mean, maybe it's different, like, when it's, obviously, when you're the biological father. For me, when I felt it, was the first time I saw him do something that I taught him, and, like, do it right. Like, I taught him something in soccer. I saw him do it on the field, and I was like, yo, I taught him that. And you feel that pride, you know what I mean? Like, that's the time when you really feel like a parent. Or when you catch yourself, for me, like, I catch myself at work. I talk to the other guys about stuff the kids do. Oh, my son did this. Oh, my son sleptwalked and pissed all over his bedroom floor last night. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, it happened to me. Oh, yeah, my son did that too. It happens. And I realize, I'm like, yeah, that's, biological step, but it doesn't fucking matter. I treat the kid like he's my own blood, okay? Because that's what he needs. He needs somebody, he needs to feel like he has his father and the father has his back. That's what he needs, and that's what I'm gonna do. And it's that thing, like, that's when you realize, like, okay, being a parent is more than just, hooking up with a chick one night. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what being a father is. Yeah. It's when you actually realize that you get more enjoyment from your child succeeding than anything else. Mm. When you realize that you're able to pass on, a little bit of knowledge or wisdom to your kid and see them executed in the real world in the right way, and you see them succeed. That's what I think matters, and that's when you get that feeling of this is the reward of being a parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought that up because I feel like this whole Generation X.
Well, Gen X is before us. We're technically, me and you were millennials. We're the older end of millennials.
Yeah. So, but I feel like the Gen X generation, they have like the we go to work, you stay at home, take care of the kids mentality, and the millennials.
Wait, now are you referring to our parents or?
Yeah.
Our parents would be baby boomers. Gen X would be, they were older than us when we were kids. Like, Gen X's, it would go baby boomers, Gen X, and then millennials.
I think even the Gen X's, to be honest with you. I think the tail end, the beginning of them, maybe not the tail end because they're closer to the millennials, but I just feel like there's this void where you have the people that are like, from those generations that are just role associated, and then millennials, because everybody talks, oh, you fucking millennials. Millennials want to work from home, and they want more family time, and they want more work-life balance. And I think part of that is because they've actually realized that, like, we were going in a direction where it's just all about fucking work. Like, one person did this, the other person did that, and we all did work long. And the families were raised, which is essentially us, right? Where we saw our parents working all the time, both parents working, this and that. And they were trying to be more predominant in our lives.
Yeah,
as much as possible, even though they couldn't, because they had a lot more responsibilities, or they wanted, or they didn't have the option not to have those responsibilities in life.
I think one of the things you see a lot, like for us, our parents, the baby boomers, they were all, like, they were the most successful generation. They had every fucking opportunity in the world because that was just the way it worked out. Like, that, they were born the right time when, America was the greatest country in the world. They had everything. The economy was booming. They could do whatever they want. The sky's the limit. So then Gen X, they grew up in a time when it was like their parents were still struggling because they were the ones that came before the baby boomers. So they were still struggling. They were working hard. They were kind of, the Gen Xers, I think, now that I'm thinking, I'm making a guess here. They kind of come from a time when they were kind of underparented. So when they have kids, they don't want to do the things that their parents did. They want to make sure they're there for their kids, that they're involved in their kids' life. And what you're seeing now is them overparenting. That's why you have these kids now that are coddled, because it's not millennials that are the ones coddling kids. We're not really old enough. Our kids are still babies for the most part. You see, like, the Gen Xers, they're the helicopter parents. They're the ones, oh, my kid has a peanut allergy, so nobody in the school can have peanuts. Well, no, it's not the way it works. Like, I understand, like, I think it comes from a good place, but I think what you're seeing is people that were underparented are now like overcorrecting. You know what I mean? Like it's that course correction. They're trying to jerk the wheel back in the other direction, and it went too far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly it. And I think that's the point I was getting is like every generation, including our parents, including us, has had different options in what they want their roles to be in life. And not just the roles like within our daily life and operations, but, you know, what they want their work-life balance to be, what they want their jobs to be, all that stuff. I think our generation is much more involved and focused on the kids and their success for them to have a better life than what we have, you know, and we're given from our parents. So
it's important to remember, too, our generation, the millennials, are the first generation that's not doing better than the generation before them. So we're the first ones that are not doing better than our parents. Our parents did good, and for the most part, we're the ones that are kind of like, yeah, well, there's not a lot out there for us. Like, if you're lucky, sure, you make money, you do whatever. But there's a lot of people that are, you know, dying under the weight of student debt and all the student loans and all that. Listen, we're getting off into a tangent right now. Listen, bro, we just did an hour and 5 minutes.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, why don't we cut this off now before we get, because this is going to end up in politics. And that's
cray.
Yeah, we're going to get a little wild in here.
Let me just wrap this up.
Hit me.
At the end of the day, a mom and dad or stepdad or mother, stepmother are only titles. The actions that we take towards our kids and the sacrifices that we make every day to help them, to dress them, to feed them, to teach them to read, write, walk, tie their shoe, those are what that's what a parent, and I just use the word parent because it doesn't matter if you're a mom or dad or a dom. I call myself a dom. Daddies are the moms because they do daddy stuff and they do mommy stuff. The quote unquote old school mommy stuff, like mommies take the kids to school. No, bro, I take my kid to school. I go to parent teacher conferences. You do the same thing. You want to be involved. It's the actions.
We do it as a couple. Like, obviously, like I'm.
If you could do it, listen, we've done it as a couple, but times when my wife's busy with work and it's like at 2:00 in the afternoon, I go.
Oh yeah, listen, if I could do it, I would do it. It's just the work schedule doesn't work out that way. No, I'm with you 100%.
So I think it's just the actions that we take and what we have to continuously remind ourselves is that, because I think that at some point during the day, whether you mentally understand it or not, we're hard on ourselves too. We're like, are we doing everything right? Are we giving the best lives?
We're constantly second guessing ourselves.
You know, what else should I show them? What should I do? Why aren't they doing that? Is that something that I didn't teach them to do? So I think what's important is that we give ourselves the credit because we're trying. We're doing everything that we possibly can. What we learn from our parents, what we learn from people around us, what we learn from ourselves, and we're trying to give these kids the same opportunities. And I think as long as you're supportive, because this world's rough. I mean, the best thing we can do for our kids is support them for who they are and tell them it doesn't matter if you're different. It doesn't matter how you act. You want to be quiet. You want to be loud. You want to be energetic. You don't want to be. You want to be. You support them. You love them. And that's it.
I think it's to find that balance between support and coddling. You want to make sure your kid knows that he's got support if he needs it. But at the same time, you want to let him go out there and maybe learn to fall down on his own, you know? Learn to pick himself back up. But know that he's not alone out there. Like you've got his back. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Like it's that. Like once again, it's that sweet spot. It's that balance. Like you got to let them make their own mistakes, but at the same time, you're kind of there to make sure those mistakes aren't life-ending mistakes. Right. You know what I mean?
100%. Like, oh damn, I did the same thing. You could make that mistake because it wasn't. I did that mistake and that almost killed me. You ain't doing that shit.
Yeah. Say, oh, you think you're cool? You're gonna date two girls at the same time? Okay, you're gonna learn. You think you're cool? You're gonna go, ride a motorcycle off a bridge? Hold up. Let me talk to you before you do that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that line there.
Absolutely. Dude, listen, it's been a pleasure. I'm so glad you started this thing up. I think everybody out there needs to listen. They need to tune in. I think if you got something set up so they can get your responses to you or feedback or comments or questions.
Yeah, listen. It's all out there. You want to email us with any questions, any suggestions, hit us up, APodAmongstMen@gmail.com. Same for Instagram and Twitter, APodAmongstMen. Spelled just like that, no spaces. Don't fuck around. You know what it is.
Yeah, you want to rent a hubby? Email Steve too. APodAmongstMen.
APodAmongstMen@gmail.com.
That's it.
Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know if we suck. right.
Don't email us.
If we suck, hit us up on Twitter. If you think we're good, hit us up on Instagram. Because I don't check the Twitter that often. But if you send us an email and you have a suggestion, you have any questions, maybe we'll do some. If anybody's listening to this shit, maybe we'll do some listener feedback. You send us an email, ask us a question, we'll try to talk about it. We'll answer your questions on air. I think that could be cool. Bill Burr does it. Theo Vaughn does it.
Yo, we got
us?
mics. We could pull a Howard Stern.
There's no way in fucking hell that I'm gonna be able to get away with that.
Listen.
Bro, this shit is in my house, bro. I'm not in the studio.
Drop it
My
like
wife
it's
is
hot.
gonna come down here with 2 butcher knives, and I only have 1 butcher knife, bro.
She's got one.
I don't even want to know where she got the second one.
She got
from.
that in her purse.
Now I'm thinking about it, that's probably a little racist. I shouldn't say that. All right.
We out.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
Deuces.
Peace.
Kill 'em tonight.